Many thanks for choosing us. This afternoon, petroleum consumers are up in arms, urging government to stem what they say is a worrying trend: hikes in fuel prices. Some oil marketing companies last night increased the price of a litre of fuel to 6 cedis, 90 pesos. The oil marketing companies say the adjustment is as a result of rising crude prices on the international market. This is the second time in less than 3 weeks that the prices have gone up. Some consumers have been sharing their frustrations.
As a Ghanaian or as an ordinary citizen, I don't know what goes into the decision to increase or decrease fuel, right? But anything that affects my spending, that increases my spending, I have a problem with it. Personally, maybe for people like me, no matter what the increases are, we are able to purchase the fuel. But what about the masses? We have people in this country that even if a fare is increased by a peso, they find it difficult to pay. So if the government can do something about the price increment, at least delay some of it, or even do away with the increments, like it will be better for us all.
As for the increase of the fuel, as I'm talking now, it has worried me from day one, and it is worrying me from now. It is worrying me because at first I was buying 60 cedis. I use the 60 cedis and close work back. As for now, I'm buying 1.5, which is 150 cedis. Mommy, no, it's not easy. I just want to stop the taxi work and just find some company. As for company where I'm not buying any fuel, so it won't cost me much. So as for a taxi there, because of the fuel, I just want to stop.
It's affected me heavily because I run a fleet of vehicles. And those prices, the price going up day in, day out, it's really affecting us. We cannot kind of emphasize the need for the government to come in and subsidize on that. Because currently all our vehicles are packed. When the price of fuel goes up, it means that every single thing in the value chain would have to go up.
The increment in fuel, it's not good. It's not good at all. Because just last week, fuel was 60, 80 pesos, and just this week, 60, 90 pesos. We don't know. Maybe by the end of this year, fuel might reach 80 or so. I don't know. And we, the motorists, we are suffering. Because every day increment, we can't even work in peace.
Oh, I could say before I used to buy 200 cedis for a week. For now, I'm buying 350 for a week. Even 3 days, I have to buy another fuel again. Without AC, I need to, even 200 cedis won't even reach to a week. So now I buy more than 100% than before I used to.
Association of Oil Marketing Companies is meanwhile warning consumers against buying cheaper fuel which may be adulterated. Kwekwaji Mandia is CEO. Well, the NPA has also been speaking. So what's ahead and how should consumers adjust themselves to survive? We are joined by policy analyst Peter Tekwe, who also has lots of insight in the petroleum sector. I'm grateful for your time, Mr. Tekwe.
Thank you very much.
Does this rise come to you as a surprise?
It doesn't at all. It doesn't come to me as a surprise at all because we don't control the factors that contribute to the increase in the fuel prices. And so far as we are not producing what we actually consume, definitely these price increases are expected. And so as a consumer, I am not surprised at all. I'm not surprised at all.
But I agree that we cannot control the things that affect the prices, especially from the international market. But could we have prevented the impact?
Well, so far as the industry has been deregulated, it will be difficult for us to control the impact because the private businessman or woman wants to make profit, and he's always comparing his cost against his margin. He's always comparing his cost against his expenses. And anything that will cost him to either be in equilibrium or be at a loss, he won't, because he's into business to pay his bills and to recoup his investment. What can happen, however, is for government to start looking at handling the deregulation, the regulation system in parallel. What will happen is that it should get to a point where government will have to say, we'll have to subsidize at some point. So now that the prices are going up and nothing can be done, we cannot reduce taxes because government wants to also mobilize enough revenue. So these are the options available for government. Either government comes to say, okay, for this period, we are going to subsidize the fuel such that the consumer will not have to be suffering from these price increases at all times. So that when prices begin to go down, then they go back to the deregulation. So we can have these two systems running. Other than that, then a couple of taxes will have to be taken out. But how sustainable is this? To be sustainable, I think that the best thing to do is to allow the government for government to come to say that, okay, in times like this, I would like to regulate the system by providing subsidies. And I think that's the best way.
Well, there are suggestions that we could pay up to 8 cedis by the end of the year. Is this something that can happen per the information that you have?
Look, we can even pay up to 8 cedis even by the end of this month. The reason is that when we were going to 6 cedis, 80 pesos, nobody knew we'll get to 6 cedis, 90 pesos today, so soon. Which means that what will cause us to get to 8 cedis, what cause us to get to 7 cedis or whatever, is uncontrollable. We can wake up tomorrow and the price will go up.
Okay.
That is why the best thing for government to do is to look at the deregulation system to say that, okay, we have to bring back the subsidy system at a certain level. That from now to the end of this period, because of the prices on the world market, let us, provide subsidies to cushion the consumer. Then when prices begin to fall, then you go back to the deregulated system. When we run the two system, then it will help us. Because for now, that you can't control it. Look, somebody is importing and is buying dollars at a high rate. Today, you're going to buy dollars, you are looking at 6 cedis, 25 pesos, 6 cedis, 30 pesos. And meanwhile, NPA is pricing at a rate that is far off the market. So what do? The private man cannot buy dollars at 5 cedis, 85 pesos or 90 pesos. And so what will he do? He wants to make profit. So at the rate at which he's buying the dollars, you will factor all this into the price computation. And then that is what is happening. So government should come and then say, okay, let us regulate the system for this period, and then we'll go back to the deregulated regime when the prices begin to fall.
But government is painting a picture that suggests that its hands are tied. What would it take for government to be able to do this, Mr. Tekwe?
But government's hands are always tight on prices of fuel. What can they do? We don't produce fuel. We don't, Tor is not refining. So government's hands are already tied long ago. And so there's nothing government can do. That is why, if you realize, they have all stopped making politics with fuel prices because they realize that there's nothing they can do. They cannot control it. So what needs to be done is for government to come up with a policy to say, look, let us support the citizenry at some level, and then we'll move on. Because what are they going to control? The world price? They don't have control. The depreciation of the currency, what can they do when demand is increasing? Inflation, what can they do? Okay, the taxes, they can manage it. What are they going to do? Once you do that, you are also reducing revenue. If you also want to bring in subsidy, what do? You're also going to increase cost. But somebody must incur some cost at a certain point in time. And so no matter how you look at it, government will have to pay something.
I'm grateful for your time. Peter Tekwe is policy analyst and is specialized in petroleum issues.